Morning, folks. Today's soap is brought to us from Jeeves of Hudson Street. This one here, his name is Cherry Blossom. And no, you're not going to find these pucks anymore. I've had this one for a while. And I've got it here in my Old Spice mug. That's what it looks like there, already whipped up with Omega Brush Boar. I think it's a 22 millimeter. I think the model number of this one here is a 10015. I have a link down below. And I don't know if you can see that, but that's what it looks like there on the bottom of the handle. My nose this morning, you know, if you follow me, my nose works part of the time it doesn't. And I don't really pick up much of a scent on this soap anymore. I know when I first got it, it was pretty nice, but it could still have a scent, and maybe my nose is just not working this morning. I'm going to follow the shave up with Clubman Musk this morning. And Preshave, still using the Taconic Preshave 2 pumps. Excuse me. Preshave. Got the usual suspects here this morning. I got the Crown King alum block, complete with rubber band this morning, as well as the Stirling unscented mentholated witch hazel. And it's right about there. It's used it a little bit. Blade of the day, which came with the shaver. Going to be using a derby blade, and it comes in a wrapper like this right here. Go ahead and throw that in the trash now. Shaver of the day is going to be from RazoRock. RazoRock Adjust. This one here is about 4.5 inches in length, maybe just a tiny bit longer. It's pretty long, and it is adjustable. Don't know if you're going to be able to see that adjustment right there, but it doesn't go by numbers. It's just got a location here for this in the middle. I guess you might say for the middle of the road kind of shave. And if you turn it to the left, it's going to be a milder shave, and if you turn it to the right, it's going to be more aggressive. And excuse me, for these passes, I'm going to go ahead and start. I'm all the way to the right. Excuse me. So in other words, it's going to be an aggressive shave. And going to start with the first pass being aggressive, and then the next pass will be the middle of the road, which is across the grain, and then the third pass against the grain will be the mild setting, just to see how all this works out. The one thing I have noticed with this particular shaver is if you go the other direction after you put your blade in and you tighten it down, I think if you're going from, in other words, from mild to aggressive, or even from the middle of the road to aggressive, you might want to loosen up the doors just a little bit, so it allows the bottom plate to move up and down like it needs to. Makes it a little bit easier to use. At least that's been, I've used it one time before today, trying to get a good feel for the shaver. And in my opinion, my experience, the one time I did use it, this will be the second time, first time on camera, there is quite a bit of a difference in between the aggressive side and the mild side, if you will, as it goes for the blade feel. Mild is pretty smooth. Against the grain, if you're one of those that have an issue with going against the grain, especially with a shaver that's got a, I guess you might say, a preset aggressiveness, whether it's mild or aggressive, whatever the case might be, that this might be a kind of shaver for you. It runs right around the $15 mark, so it's not real expensive. As it goes for the finish on this shaver, it's nothing to complain about. All the metal's nice and shiny and smooth and looks good. If anybody has anything to probably complain about this particular shaver, it'll be that it's 4.5 inches, and they're not the handle. It feels good in the hand until you have to be kind of careful about, in other words, having wet hands or soapy hands. This right here feels nice in the hands. In other words, it's not any real tough knurling that's going to poke your hands or anything quite like that. But because it is kind of smooth, it may be a little bit difficult for some folks to hang on to. But so I'm made a practice of putting my little finger under the end of the handle to help keep control of the shaver. Warm up this blade a little bit here. All right, first pass, going with the aggressive setting all the way to the right with the derby blade, which is the first time use. But I thought I'd give it a try. For 15 bucks, I didn't think it'd be in other words, a total waste of money. And of course, you know, for some folks, the fact that it doesn't have numbers might be a little off-putting, but for me, using the graduations like it is, at least for this particular shave, for me, I think it's quite all right. It's got I should say, you can place the settings anywhere in between. You don't have to go all the way to the left, all the way to the right, or stop in the middle. You can stop anywhere in between, and it'll work just fine. But there is a little bit of blade feel on the aggressive side of things. I don't think it's overwhelming, not to the point where most people would not appreciate it. It does take some of the, if you go, in other words, like I am here today, going, I guess you might say the 3 basic settings. I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not. There's the dot. When you turn it all the way to the right and all the way to the left, it's, you know, it's not necessarily on the back side, but it's not where you can see it like it is there if the light doesn't wash it out. It's to me, on the aggressive setting, as far as you can go, I would call it medium aggression, but on the upper end of a medium aggressive, just because of the blade feel. Now for the first pass, how much whisker reduction? I still need definitely at least a second pass. Yeah, there's still quite a bit left. Yeah, there's going to be at least a second pass and then maybe a pickup after that, if I was to keep it on the aggressive setting all the way through. We'll see how the middle of the road works. Kind of feel like this brush has been using it all week. Bristles are working pretty well. I don't feel that they're that pokey. I guess that's one of the reasons why I kind of have a tendency to gravitate to some of these inexpensive brushes. The bristles seem to be treated a particular way. Not sure, you know, what their process is, but I don't feel that it's that. I mean, it's pokey. Don't get me wrong. It's got some scritch to it, but not to the point where it's like, oh, I need to break this thing in some more. If there's anything along those lines, is getting the bristles, in other words, to absorb the water and, you know, going through that sort of routine. But as it goes for the softness of the bristle tips, in other words, I would be quite all right to face lather with it. All right, across the grain here. Matter of fact, I intend on using these little boar brushes that I got for a face lather. And I'm terrible at face lathering, so but I thought it would be a good video to, I guess you might say, as a demonstration as well as experience for me, because I don't face lather very often, and also with a stick soap. I guess you might say I kind of feel like if I can do it, it kind of gives hope for other folks that yes, you can do it too. Alright, going to go ahead and change the settings so I don't forget, because I'm not used to using an adjustable razor. Like I say, I have a tendency just to loosen up just a little bit, maybe a quarter of a turn, and now I'm going all the way to the left, which is the mild setting. And I know when I used the mild setting, it was pretty mild. I would say it's like Gillette Tech type mild. Or if you run in the RazoRock vein of razors, they're Their DE 3-piece, that's a mild setup. I think the last time I looked, that shaver was running right around $8. Pretty inexpensive. And it depends on what your skin and whisker type is. That's a pretty good shaver to even stick with if it works well for you, especially against the grain. Not everybody can do against the grain pass on their neck. It depends on how your skin is and the toughness of your beard. I've been able to get by with using aggressive settings on the neck against the grain. But I have some aggressive razors that, yeah, that's, I know when I'm done, my neck is a little sore. These razors, some of these razors are pretty aggressive. All right, against the grain pass on the mild setting. And it is set up in such a way that if you're new to starting out with a shaver like this, that's starting out on the mild side, and it affords you the opportunity to go ahead and switch to a more aggressive setting. And the fact that for 15, I think it's $14.99 when I got this. You can kind of grow with the settings and not break the bank on a razor that's adjustable. Just depends on what kind of budget you're working with. But then again, like I said, you know, you have to get used to this long handle. It's long. For somebody like me, my hands aren't exactly big. But if you're a bigger guy, I guess you might say, bigger hands, yeah, this kind of shaver, you might appreciate that handle length. And once again, I think that's 4.5 inches total length, including the you know, in other words, measured from the top of the cap to the bottom of the handle. Well, my face feels pretty good though. Got just a little bit down through here. I probably could have caught that on the third pass if I'd, in other words, had realized that there's still just a little bit there, but overall my face is really smooth. A very comfortable shave. In other words, the blade and the razor is a nice matchup. At least it was for me. This is your mileage may vary, and that probably is one of the reasons why some people really do like the adjustable shavers, because you can adjust the shave however you like it with the same razor you've been using all week. And oh, Jill would have caught that right there. Soap on the ears. Still think about her from time to time. Got just a little bit of stinging, not much. Kind of odd, right there. I usually don't get stinging way up there. All right. I think the soap worked out pretty well. Like I say, it's not made anymore, and I've had it probably for a good, maybe going on 4 years now. And slickness still works just fine. I like when he was selling these soaps in these pucks like this. I bought several of them to put in my Old Spice mugs. I got, I don't know, 3 or 4 more of them. Menthol, nice cooling effect. To me, I like just to stand for a moment and just enjoy the coolness of the witch hazel that's mentholated. It feels really good on the face. Helps with the nose too. My nose is terrible. After mornings, I spend quite a bit of time just blowing my nose. I think this, at least per my nose, I think it has a bit of a citrus scent to it. I do like this musk. It works well for my nose, I'll put it that way. I'll have a link down below for it also. Don't see very many case you might say shave of the days. With this particular aftershave, it's not really expensive. Matter of fact, the link that I have down below, Atlanta Barber, is this one here is a 6-ounce variety. The link I'll have down below is a 1.7 if I remember right. It's a smaller container. So if you're not sure, whether or not you might like this scent or not, at least you can get it at a lower price and a lower volume and give it a try and see how you like it. I like it. I think it's pretty nice. Great for today, especially, the other day I used grapefruit scented and it kind of works right along in that same vein. It does smell great though. Had a great shave. Hope everybody's doing well. It's definitely some trying times out there. So anyway, stay safe, stay healthy, and smooth shaves to you.